Hey there, thanks for joining me today. This is Laura Lynn with KeepInkingUp.com. I'm an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up in San Antonio, Texas. And today I want to talk about our Designer Series paper, or DSP. And specifically, I want to encourage y'all to use your DSP that you already have in your stash, in your crafting stash. One of the things that happens, at least in my case, is I'll see this beautiful Designer Series paper. For example, this is the Peaceful Poppies DSP. I'll see the paper in our catalog, and I'll see beautiful samples in our catalog and all over social media, and I'll see how pretty the paper is, and I'll just have to have it, and so I'll order it, and then once it gets to my home, I'll store it away for a future project and not cut into it and not use it. The problem with that is I essentially become a paper hoarder, and I just get stacks and stacks and stacks of beautiful Designer Series paper, but I don't use it because I'm afraid to cut into it. So I want to encourage y'all with this video to actually use the beautiful Designer Series paper that you have. A fellow demonstrator named Kylie Bertucci in Australia has the hashtag loveitchopit, where she does the same thing. So she encourages y'all to love your paper so much that you chop it up and use it, because when you do that, you experience the joy of creating something with it, and then others receive the joy when they receive the item that you have created for them. So I want to encourage y'all to do just that. So what I did is I ordered the beautiful Peaceful Poppies DSP, and then I started cutting into it. Now what I decided to do was, for the efficiency of 12 by 12 paper, is that I cut it into 4-inch strips, and then because my card bases are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches, I cut cut those 4-inch strips into 4 by 5 1/2 inch strips. So here I have my stack of 4 by 5 1/2 inch strips of this beautiful, beautiful Designer Series paper. I just love the colors in this paper and the designs, the watercolor look. It's just so pretty. And of course it's double-sided, so you've got beautiful colors and patterns on both sides. So now I have all of these ready to be used on cards. I have some leftover strips that I can use as well, which that's all nice to have. And they store quite nicely in our stamp storage cases that you can purchase in packages of 4. So I have all of this paper ready to go, and I made a stack of cards. So I wanted to share those cards with you. So here's one. I used the full 4 inches by 5 1/2 inches, and then I have a strip of another piece that I had, and I also used the coordinating stamps and dies in this suite. So I specifically used the stamp set Peaceful Moments. You're going to see this stamp set in a lot of my samples today. And I use the coordinating dies as well. So here's another card that uses the Designer Series paper and that stamp set. So pretty. I love the watercolor look on this particular pattern. Here's another one. I cut the piece a little bit smaller, so make it a little bit different, but again, I use the coordinating stamp set and dies. Here's another one, and all of these, I think you notice I use the coordinating solid colors for the card bases. And again, I think I showed that in a previous video. Right here in our catalog, we've got some colorful swatches that show exactly what colors are in the Designer Series paper, so it helped me choose which colors to make my card bases with. So again, here I used the Designer Series paper. This used the ornate frames just to make this a little bit fancy. But really, I'm letting the Designer Series paper be the star of the show on these cards and really highlight the beauty of this Designer Series paper. I've shown this card in a previous video, but again, it just shows the overall size of it. I did have to trim it down a little bit to fit on this particular card. But because I already had the pieces at 4 inches by 5 1/2 inches, I was ready to start designing cards, and actually really quickly made these cards. Now what I did learn in this process of making these cards is that maybe the 4 by 5 1/2 inches isn't the right dimension for me to cut and to use in the most efficient way. Because what I like to do is to coordinate my envelopes with my cards by using the Designer Series paper. But unfortunately, when I cut my paper to 5 1/2 inches, that's not long enough to cover the flap of my envelope. It was too short. So what I realized in the future is I'm going to need to cut the paper to 4 inches by 6 inches. That way I can use the paper to cover the flaps of my envelope so I can have coordinating envelopes. Excuse me. So that's what I'm going to be doing in the future. And I actually did that, and I have it to show you. I did that with the Golden Honey Designer Series paper that is free with a $50 purchase during Celebration. All this beautiful paper with the gold foiling, the honeybee paper, I went ahead and cut up, and it's double-sided. It's black and white on one side, and the other side has some gold foiling with the black and white. So I have all of these are 4 inches by 6 inches that I'll be able to use in future cards. So that's what I will be doing with all of my Designer Series paper in the future. So anyway, what I hope this video shows you is to encourage you to go ahead, once you receive your beautiful Designer Series paper, go ahead and cut it up so you can use it now in making cards, so you can bring joy to yourself while creating those cards, and then bring joy to others when you send those cards on to other people. Don't hoard your paper, use it. I know we all think that we're going to be using it on a future project, but you know, we're not all promised tomorrow, so we don't know when we're going to be able to use it in the future. So go ahead, once you purchase the beautiful paper, and that goes for any paper wherever you buy it, not just Stampin' Up's Designer Series paper, but any pretty pattern paper that you happen to own, go ahead, cut it up, use it, bring joy to yourself and others. I just want to encourage you to do that. So thank you so much for watching me today, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.